Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hose Connections halftime report here in our Centier Bank studios. I'm Jack Thiel, alongside me, Mike Dewan, James Chalos, producing today's halftime report. Halftime at a lot of games in Northwest Indiana, some games starting just now in the third quarter. We're going to take you through all of those scores and talk about some of those games that we are keeping our eye out on. And, of course, if you want to follow all the scores that we're covering, go to our hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends from Strack and Van Til. You can view that on our website, regionsports.com, and, of course, our Facebook and YouTube pages as well. So let's get started. The Westside Cougars are currently leading the Bishop Knoll Warriors 40-0. One of our game nights built by Von Tolba, which you can view right now. It's starting in the third quarter, actually. The Crown Point Bulldogs only up by 7 against the Chesterton Trojans. Mike, we talked about this game on the Quintel Kickoff Show and Region Football Weekly, how Crown Point definitely favored in this game, but don't be surprised if Chesterton makes you work for that win.
It's a dogfight, no pun intended. There was a Landon Dillich touchdown earlier, I think, in the first quarter, and then I got to give a shout-out to Owen Eldlin of Chesterton. He's kind of the guy that is leading that defense. I think he has an interception and a couple sacks, a couple plays in the backfield. He's hopefully the guys kind of rally around him, because what Chesterton's doing right now is very uncommon with, again, the opponents that Crown Point has faced so far this year.
Yeah, last time we checked, the third quarter was just starting, and Chesterton punted the ball off, so Crown Point has the ball the last time we checked, but only up by 7. It's our game night built by Von Tolba. You can view that on our website, regionsports.com, our Facebook and YouTube page as well. The Griffith Panthers trying to get back on track against the Calumet Warriors. They lead 7-0. So another team trying to get back on track, the Hammond Central Wolves. They lead 14-0 against the East Chicago Cardinals. The Hanover Central Wildcats, an undefeated team, number 2 in our RSN top 10 rankings. They're in a close game at halftime, and Drain 13-3, but Hanover had that late touchdown. I believe it was Matt Kuntz, the one who scored that for them.
Yeah, that's his second of the day. He's kind of being that guy. I know Caden Verrett's also getting his, as always. We were kind of talking about potential all-area teams, and he's got 110 yards, I believe, at the half. And again, it's that's a game for most people. So they have the two-headed monster in the backfield, but again, closer game. We talked about the grass aspect of things. The weather's not great, especially on a cold grass field. It should be an interesting second half. Andrean's got to get things going if they want to make this interesting.
Yeah, things definitely close. We talked about a lot how teams play hard. When they go to Andrean, it's not an easy win. We saw that in the Hobart game, obviously, when they were down by 10. They came back in the fourth quarter. Hanover Central in another game where they're going to have to work all 4 quarters. Obviously, that's something they weren't used to throughout the year because of how dominant they were playing. But last week against Hobart, and it looks like this week against Andrean, they're going to have to play all 4 quarters. Next game, the KV Cougars lead the Highland Trojans at half, 35-6. We talked about Kirk Kennedy. Historic win maybe coming for him. It looks pretty good right now, up by that much.
Yeah, they're turning it around, man. I think we're going to probably talk about this on our post game, but I think they're going to probably make a name for themselves to be a bubble team, or maybe in our top 10. The way they've been playing these past few weeks, they're on the brink of their 3rd straight win. And of course, we talk about the milestone for Kirk Kennedy, chasing 200. They're a solid team, and then they're having kind of a better year than previous, and it's exciting for KV and Kirk Kennedy.
Yeah, absolutely. The Boone Grove Wolves, they lead Lake Station 49-0. Now, interesting news about Boone Grove, and we learned about this earlier today, is that we kind of been hinting and talking about their new stadium. We thought it might have been built already. Well, fans, we have news for you. Next week, Boone Grove will play in their new stadium for the first time. So if you're a fan of Boone Grove or you're curious about that, we learned from people from Boone Grove itself that they are going to be playing in their new stadium next week. They said they at least expect 3,000 people. They're going to have a bunch of former players there walking on the field. So something special to definitely check out. But that's what we heard. Boone Grove's going to be playing on their new field.
It's big for the community, of course.
Absolutely.
It's going to be the whole town, and some coming out, of course, players from past, present, probably future.
Future, yeah.
It's close out the season. I think they play a Bishop Knoll next week, which again, Boone Grove's looking great now, and they're looking to kind of wrap up their conference play with hopefully a win. And it's going to be a great tournament over there. And again, I'm happy that construction is finally over and they get a new field to break out for the last game of the season and potential playoff runs.
Yeah, well, Boone Grove is playing at Wheeler currently when they're winning 42-0. I don't know. I'm sure they'll miss Wheeler a little bit. They've had some success on that field.
It's been they did lose to them on that field sadly too. It probably gives them a little bad memories when they were an away team, but it became a second home for them in this construction process. But it's again, congrats to them for getting that construction done. And again, the way they've been playing, they deserve a new field. They're looking great out there, and obviously what they're doing tonight. I know Mark Rowlands got a couple touchdown passes,
Yeah, absolutely.
running up his fantasy score.
He's
so
rowing that Boone Grove boat all the way to a
sir.
W
Yes,
tonight.
sir.
One of our top 10 matchups, the Maryville Pirates and Lake Central Indians. Maryville up by 14, 17-3 at half. It's senior night for the Lake Central Indians. We learned from one of the reporters at Lake Central, Chase Kwiatkowski, he got hurt. He was limping off the field. I'm not sure if he came back in the game.
I think he's still sidelined.
What we heard from reporters, a big thank you, of course. I believe, who was the reporter here?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but again, thank you to all the reporters out there. They're kind of making this ship, sail.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving us all, again, tweeting information out, but I don't think he's back in there.
It'll be interesting to look out for, obviously, for the rest of the night. But Maryville up 17-3. Lake Central actually had the first points. They had a field goal, so 17 unanswered points for the Maryville Pirates.
Yeah, Dante Pope touchdown run, J.Q. Johnson another touchdown run. Maryville, they answered back pretty quickly. 3-0 start for LC. It looked pretty promising, and on a senior night, Nick got away for them pretty quickly.
Another top 10 team in our RSN rankings, and number 6 Michigan City Wolves. They lead 21-0 at half against the LaPorte Slicers. Our second game night built by Von Tobel, which you can view on our website, regionsports.com, or Facebook, YouTube, and of course, ihsaatv.org. Number 7 Morton, number 5 Hobart Brickies. If you like offense, this is your type of game. Hobart at half, 31-26. Morton did have a huge lead kind of in the middle of that second quarter, but kudos to Hobart. They keeping their heads down, trying to play some good football, and now they're in the lead.
I think it was 26-10.
It was. There was a scoop and score by Morton, I believe, that put them at 26, and like you said, 10.
Yeah, it's been a shootout. Honestly, you think this would be a final score? Donzel Hitter got things started for Morton. I think he's got 2 scores in the first half, and of course we mentioned a scoop and score to put him up by 16. But Willie Shearer's got 2 touchdowns of his own, and Aiden Leonard, he had a big catch at the end of the half, and I think he got his first touchdown of the year, too. Yep. So those are 2 players that are, you kind of expect TJ Caldwell being the receiver he is and Hobart to kind of make his name for himself on the receiving end. But Aiden Leonard's really stepped up, kind of being that second guy behind Shearer, and it's going to be a fantastic second half if that hasn't started yet. But it's been a dandy so far. Yeah,
once again, one of our game nights built by Von Tobel, which you can view on our website, regionsports.com, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, ihsaatv.org. That should be starting the second half just shortly. Our next one, Mike's favorite high school team, the Munster Mustangs, trailing the Lowell Red Devils 41-21. Both teams trying to just get back on track, both 2-5, and for Lowell, good response by them just because they've had a couple of weeks where the games have gotten away from them. Our next one, the River Forest Engets lead South Central 15-8. That one is at halftime. Our third game night built by Von Tobel, of course, Valpo and Portage. We talked about this one a lot. They lead 21-0. I believe that one's about to start in the second half as well. No Davis for the Vikings, so they're going to lean on Thomas Berta, who was their backup running back. Now he's became the big guy and the guy who's really going to lead things for them just because we don't know the extent of the injury. No. Obviously, last week he had the big week, and this week, he is the guy. He's the bell cow back. But Justin Clark's thrown a couple of touchdowns with his arm. We kind of talked about what can he do other than run the ball because he's been such a great runner throughout the year, but we're seeing him throw the ball a lot more. But Portage, they were in this game, I believe, until late in the second quarter. Things got a little away from them. But in that first quarter, they kept things pretty close. It was 6-0. But for Valpo, I mean, this is a team that's going to respond right away and that have to have a comfortable lead.
Yeah, kind of like we were saying. I mean, Portage is going to fight. Again, they're 0-7. They're looking for that first win in the deck this whole year, and not a better team to do it against than Valparaiso, one of the best teams in 5A, probably in the state. I mean, in the whole conference, they're up there in terms of teams you want to beat in your home base, and they're gonna fight, regardless of what the records are or the score is. But you can't let it get away from them too much. Valpo, again, a comfortable lead, again with on the back of I think Thomas Berta had a touchdown score, and but Portage has forced a couple turnovers, and I think they're gonna stay in this game for a decent amount. Again, it's all a learning experience. We kind of talked about it on the kickoff show a little bit. You got to take it with get the positive out of this no matter what. It's another Friday night. You're playing a fantastic team in your home area. Just enjoy it. It's no matter what the score is, it's going to be a fun time. But that's really all it is. Yeah,
Valpo Portage once again game night built by Von Tobel. That third quarter second half should be starting very shortly on our website regionsports.com, Facebook, YouTube, and of course ihsaatv.org. Any other final words, Mike, before we wrap up the Hose Connections halftime report? Just because, well, you're not going to see us until the wrap-up show, but we do want to talk about one thing before we let you go.
Yeah, I mean it's stay warm out there if you're watching from the game, but of course we gotta plug Remember the Region again. If you've seen our previous shows, it's a GoFundMe we set up to help us digitize and distribute our collection that we have. We have from VHSs, film reels that Jack was just holding up, whatever these things are called. I think these are VHSs they call them. It's CDs, DVDs, you name it, we got it, and you could help us digitize, distribute, and manage our whole collection because it's tedious. It's a lot of stuff, and it's again, with your help, we could really use it, and it'll keep us remembering the region. Thousands of football games that we have in our collection. So again, check out the link that we have in our socials and maybe on our stream right here. And again, you can find it anywhere. That's Remember the Region. You find it in our link trees, our socials. Again, anything would help us. So.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm holding right here. 1998 sectional round 1, Crown Point at Lake Central. Possibly a matchup we might see in this year's sectional.
Maybe. Hey, I was minus 3 years old. So.
I know myself or our producer James Chalos would like to keep this one. Me being a former Indian, of course. Our producer James being a current Crown Point Bulldog. No bad blood, don't worry, people. Everything's good in the studio here. For now, obviously.
For now.
But that's going to do it all for here on the Hose Connections Halftime Report in our Centier Bank studio. Make sure to stay tuned at about 10:30 p.m. and we'll do our RSN wrap-up show and get you caught up on all the scores in Northwest Indiana. But you're watching this on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.